The girl simply reached her hand into the clear sea water, but to her surprise, something strange happened the next second. Countless little fish swam towards the spot where the girl was, as if they had heard some kind of call. However, the fishermen weren't very surprised, because every time they took the girl out to sea to fish, they always returned with a full catch. It was because of the girl's special ability that nearly 100 residents on the island were able to survive. But the secrets of the girl's abilities didn't stop there. Every morning, a long line of people would form outside the home of the couple who adopted the girl, because anyone who had come into contact with the girl, no matter what illness they were suffering from, would be healed by her. The local residents regarded the girl as a divine being. It was the girl's arrival that allowed the people on the island to live wealthy and disease-free lives. However, as time passed, this peaceful village fell into a civil war due to the selfishness and greed of the fishermen. One day, Annie and her friends went to play on the mountain. Suddenly, they found a huge beehive on the ground. Strangely, when Annie slowly approached, the aggressive bees acted like pets and landed on her hand. As Annie showed her friends this magical sight, she realized her friends were being attacked by a swarm of bees. Seeing her friends injured, Annie unconsciously clenched her fists. The next second, all the bees around her exploded and died. Her friends were stunned by this sight, and even Annie felt it was unbelievable. To avoid being seen as a monster, Annie asked her friends to keep this secret, but unexpectedly, after this event, Annie's special ability mysteriously disappeared. She could no longer use her powers to heal the local residents. The fishermen's catches were also very scarce. After a week passed, the local residents couldn't hold back any longer. They called an emergency community meeting overnight. They were deeply worried about their future. The next morning, they brought gifts to comfort Annie. They prayed that Annie would recover her powers soon, hoping to restore the wealth they once had. That evening, Lisa was calming Annie to sleep, but in an accidental moment, she noticed that the wound from the previous day was rapidly healing. Excited, she immediately called her husband over. To her surprise, her husband also discovered that the scar on his hand was disappearing at a visible rate. This instantly made the couple realize that Annie's healing powers had returned. To cure Aunt May, who suffered from Alzheimer's, Lisa immediately wanted to tell Aunt May the news, because Aunt May had been in terrible condition these days without Annie's healing powers. Little did she know, her husband Nick stopped her, because Nick knew that once Aunt May regained her mind, the island's residents would again use Annie's powers for their own selfish gain. But Lisa couldn't bring herself to stop. In the middle of the night, she invited Aunt May to her home. The moment she arrived, Aunt May's Alzheimer's was completely healed, but the fisherman's catch was still dismal. Soon, the fisherman went to Lisa's house to complain. It turned out that after Aunt May regained her mind, she leaked the news about Annie's power returning. After witnessing that Annie could only use her powers while asleep, Aunt May suddenly came up with a bold idea.